Hi, welcome this afternoon. It's great to be with you, and I think we're going to have an interesting time together. We are at a very significant point in our history, and I think this calls for us for a change of direction. Now, today we're going to look at a totally different aspect. I think this whole video series of mine is going to take on a new and a different approach, because I've been spending a lot of time actually waiting on the Lord, asking Him for direction in terms of where we're going, what is important, and how we should proceed forward. So we are going to look at some interesting things that I believe the Lord showed me as we are going forward. But before we get into that, let's just go and make ourselves a nice cup of coffee. I love cappuccino, so I'm going to show you exactly how I make my cappuccino. Now, I'm very happy that before this lockdown, my wife actually bought this little gadget that at first I thought is rubbish. I wanted to buy a brand new machine to make myself nice cappuccinos. If you've been following me on Strava, where I ride mountain bike, you will see that almost every afternoon I spend some time in a cafe where I have some nice cappuccinos. But now with the lockdown, that's unfortunately not possible. So here you're going to see I use this little gadget of mine, and I pour my milk into it. And can you imagine this small little thing? How does it make froth? It's unbelievable, but it does. So I put this right in, throw the milk in, I heat my cup, because it's very important that the cup must be the right temperature, and I use this Nespresso machine just for the coffee, and you can see the coffee that I use. And this is all a ritual. I do it 3 or 4 times, sometimes even 5 times a day, to make myself a lovely cup of cappuccino. So I hope that you've gotten your cup of coffee as well, so that we can get right into what I believe is very important. Now, what I said, I spent some time waiting on the Lord, asking Him for some direction, because I believe we are in a significant time in our country, in the world, and as Christians we should be able to look differently at finances. And one of the first things the Lord impressed upon my heart is the fact that we should get out of debt. And I believe this is very important for us, to get out of debt. Make sure that you finish debt. First of all, that we don't get into any new debt. Secondly, that we do get out of debt as soon and as quickly as possible. Even if it takes basically all that we have to get out of debt. It's so important, and especially the second one as well, that we don't get into new debt because of the times that is coming up. Many people believe that when this lockdown is over, it is going to be business as usual. I don't believe that is going to be true. I hope the lockdown won't be extended. It might be that we stay locked down even more than the 5 weeks that we've had now. But I believe when we get back, the world is going to be different, and the world is not going to be as we perceive it to be. It's not going to be as that we might think it to be. It's going to be completely different. So the first thing, everybody that listens to my radio program will know that as well. The beginning of the year, I have this challenge to get out of debt. This is even more important. I want to go further and to say that you've got to re-look at your budget. Make sure that you understand that if you draw up a budget, a simple budget, on the one hand it's your income, on the other hand it's your expenses. So make absolutely sure that you draw up a budget. So there you can see the income and the expenses. and our expenses we have to look at closely. And this is not a joke, or it's not something because I've got nothing to say. This is very, very important. Very difficult times are coming. During the first two videos I said that it's going to be trying times. People are going to lose their jobs. The whole economic landscape is going to change. It has already actually changed. And we see that our country is in dire straits in terms of debt. We have far too much debt, and we're borrowing money to pay people basic salaries, basic grants so that they can live. When we get back, people are going to lose their jobs. There's not going to be the type of revenue for SARS that we normally think they're going to get. Where's our country going to get the money to pay the grants? They might raise the taxes. So I can tell you that it's not going to be all that we think it's going to be going forward. And that's why it's very, very important that we are prepared. And that's why our expenses we must really look at and make sure that we cut down our expenses. Not because of anything else, but for our own safety, for our own good. And if we've done that, made sure that we've really looked at our budgets. And I know sitting with clients many, many years, it's very difficult if you're on a certain standard of living to all of a sudden cut back and say, I'm going to, cut back, because everyone says all of these expenses are very, very important and I can't really cut back. But I'm telling you, I have to do that myself as well. We all have to do that. In the times that come, it's going to be very, very important that we are lean and mean. Also, not just for ourselves, because the time is going to come that we are going to have to look after one another. And this might be such a new idea to you. It might be so foreign that you think this guy is nuts in his head. That's fine. You can think that. But I'm telling you, the Lord is preparing people. He's showing people what is actually going to come. And it's not doom and gloom for His children. It's going to be victory. But the point is, just as the Lord said, don't owe anybody anything except love. That's why it's so important that we kill off, we finish our debt, because we cannot go further. We cannot expect the blessing of the Lord to be on us if we have these exorbitant levels of debt, and if we don't cut back and make sure that we can live off a basic situation. So I want to encourage you. It's going to be fantastic times. The gospel is going to be preached all over the world. It's going to be exciting times. It's really, if you belong to the Lord and you are sold out to Him, it's going to be harvest time, and we all want to be part of that. But we have to be prepared. Remember the maidens with the lamps. Half of them were prepared and the other half said, well, we'll wait around, maybe boss is not coming back. And then we heard what happened. He came when they didn't expect it, and they wanted to borrow oil from the ones that was prudent, that got the oil, and at the end of the day they were thrown out. We don't want to be like that. Don't owe the world anything. Finish your debt. Make sure that you're on an even keel, that you will be able to survive, and that you will be able to thrive, and also by giving. The Lord said to us, it's much, much better to give than to receive. So this is fantastic. I hope that you will take this seriously. This is a short message, but I wanted to sink in that you understand, first of all, that it's going to be fantastic times for the kingdom. It's going to be hardship in the world. We know that the Bible promises that. I believe it's not the end of the world. I believe there's a massive harvest coming in. If you just read reports from all over the world, people turning to the Lord during these times, I definitely want to be a part of that. I hope you want to be a part of that. And as I say, to get ready for that, first of all, we must make sure that we become debt-free, even if it almost kills us. Make sure that you get your budgets to such a place that you can use all your extra spending to pay off your debt. Make sure that you are debt-free. And my friend, I'm telling you, you will be so happy with the times coming, because it's not going to be times of hardship. It's going to be times of prospering for the children of God. But he says to us, don't be like the fool that just goes helter-skelter and makes new debt and doesn't know what's going on. Make sure that you really take care of the debt, and then from there we're going to build up. Thank you for watching. I really appreciate that.